Alright guys, welcome back to the table. I'll try not to sniffle or clear my throat too much. No guarantees there. I said I wasn't going to film this because I've whipped this more than you would whip a dead horse. But this is just where I'm at, and I don't know. Maybe something on the next video, but I'm going to try and explain the ongoing design process here, the thought rationale behind decisions and choices that I make, and hopefully you can gain some sort of insight in that respect, as opposed to just straight what the hell is he doing and having to figure it out on your own. That said, let me give you a quick overview and or breakdown of what I have set up. Again, this should look familiar to any of you that have seen this channel. Probably painfully familiar. Again, I apologize. But what we have are the cards from Battles of Napoleon, Eagle, and the Lion. No surprise there. We've got terrain cards from up front, and that's just on the surface. Below the surface, we have other things going on. A combat system that is more or less my own custom combat system. A hungry, whiny cat that will probably carry on for the next hour because she doesn't get fed until 5. That's not in the rules officially yet, but we'll see what happens. And then what else? I do have a brief rules overview that I've typed up and created. We've got, well, actually what we have set up here is in fact a rough, very rough, abstract representation of Waterloo. In particular, this would be Jerome's stage. We're looking at, let's see, 3 salvos shot by the artillery of the French Guard signaled the beginning of the Battle of Waterloo. Prince Jerome, brother of Napoleon, was ordered to attack the Hougomont Chateau on the left wing of the French deployment and advanced his infantry into the woods around the farm. So here we have Hougomont farm, the woods, and then we have a few hill representations around. This is representing the initial French assault intended to attract Allied reserves to this sector of the battlefield, while the main French attack was to be launched by 1st Corps. Jerome's main objective was Hougomont. What was supposed to be only a diversion soon evolved into a bitter struggle that lasted the entire day, with the outcome uncertain until the general retreat of the French army. So as far as deployment, we have 2 French cavalry units here. We have looks like some hussars, light cavalry, and chasseurs et cheval perhaps. Then we have some light infantry, more light infantry, some line infantry, no, more light infantry. And we have line infantry, some artillery, line infantry, more artillery, and then some more line infantry. That's for the French. As far as the Anglo-Allied army, we have a light cavalry unit here, just off camera. Another light cavalry unit, some artillery. And we have some British Guard infantry here, some British light infantry, more British light infantry, more British light infantry, some light infantry up here, more light infantry, and then interestingly enough, we do have some Hanoverians here, which are just piss poor troops. They really suck. More Hanoverians, no offense to any Hanoverians that watch this channel on a regular basis, and some British artillery here. Now we also have, waiting to enter the battlefield, 2 units of French cavalry, and then a unit of British line infantry, actually 2, and another separate British heavy cavalry, 2 heavy cavalry units waiting to enter. Now, the way you win this thing, it's set up as 10 turns, but you're rarely going to play out the entire 10 turns. Why? Because that coincides with the victory conditions. So what needs to happen is the British player wins at the end of any turn in which he completely eliminates or routs 2 French infantry unit groups. Now that may not sound like very much, but it's a rather formidable task. But that hinges on whether or not he uses one or both of these reserve units that you can't see off camera here. And if he does that, then he needs to eliminate or rout 3 French infantry groups. Remember, infantry, not cavalry, not artillery, in order to win. Now, the French player wins at the end of any turn in which he achieves one of the following objectives. Control, that is to say, complete control of Hougoumont farm, or he completely eliminates or routs 2 British infantry unit groups. So even though it's 10 turns, that usually happens before you hit all 10 turns. Anything else I need to add? I've already mentioned the upfront cards and the Battles of Napoleon. Obviously, playing cards, there's also some, oddly enough, conflict of heroes in here, which you'll see. And I think that's it. Let me break down a card for you. We have leader cards, which look like thus. Leader card with some basic force stats of information. And then a unit card, which can be infantry, cavalry, or artillery, with a fire value if they're firing, a melee value if they're conducting melee, the strength of the unit, how many are in the unit, anywhere from 1 to 4. And this is really interesting, the troop quality notation here. Now, I've talked to the designer. Where was he at? Here? I've talked to the designer of this game, which I've probably already mentioned, so bear with me, and asked him, because the base game for Battles of Napoleon was intended to be more, and it didn't become that, and he also had, for instance, these troop quality stats, and he wouldn't tell me, he wouldn't list what they were for in the core rules, because it was supposed to be something that would be developed later on. I actually emailed him, which, again, I've probably already told you guys this, but bear with me. Emailed him what that intended to be, and he didn't give me 100% exact thing that I could nail down information-wise, but it was enough that I kind of knew what he was going for. So what I've done is, with the conflict of heroes thing, you have a value which costs a unit to move. So you'll have a certain number, it costs that amount to move. They'll have another number, it costs that amount to fire. Then you have this, what they call weighted die 10. This is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It has omitted certain numbers, and they added multiple duplications of other numbers. So for instance, we have 2 1s on here, etc. You use that to determine if a unit is spent after conducting an action. Now, I really like that, and I hadn't considered this before now. Usually you have to determine if a unit can conduct an action, which is kind of silly, because I don't understand, with a lot of these games these days, how units can be so poor in their carrying out and reception of orders. I understand that things got flubbed and messed up a little, but I think some of these games take way too much liberty in assuming that these guys just suck when it comes to conducting an action or understanding their orders. So what we have is a guarantee, at least with this system, a guarantee that each unit will conduct at least one order, and then you will determine if he can conduct future actions based on that spent die roll. So it worked out really well. In fact, it worked out so good, I find myself playing this just over and over and whooping out loud, because you aren't certain, especially coming from a solo perspective. You need a little bit of certain flavor, and this really presents that. So when you're rolling the die, one side may depend on whether or not an opposing unit can conduct an action or not. And some of these guys with their true quality ranges from 1 to 5. And when you need a 1 to conduct another action and you roll it, it's pretty exciting because you're not certain if you're going to get it. And then when you do, it's a cause for excitement. So there's that. You'll see how all this plays out as we go. I intend, and I say intend, to move forward playing this as long as possible because it really gets better as the game goes on, as troops move in towards each other. So the other thing that I'll break down real quickly is the scale of the map board on which the units maneuver. This is technically the same width of the intended map board that you would play for the base game that I've ripped this off of. However, it is not as deep on either side as it would typically be. I'm okay with that primarily because you spend less time maneuvering into range of each other. And then again, that just is just fine and dandy with me. There's just enough room to maneuver with the way I have it here. And for instance, with the artillery maximum range of 3, you still can hang out of range of artillery that is at the farthest opposite end. So there's that as well. I think that covers everything. Let me just make sure. You'll notice the 1, 2, 3, 4 panels or rows or columns. Don't focus too much on that. It really doesn't affect gameplay all that much. All it really does is help me break down mentally areas of the battlefield. Then we have, I think that's it, stacking. There is no stacking unless it's a leader in a unit. And yeah, that covers it. Anything else that I need to explain will be broken down as we move along. So the French go first, and here's how it goes. You're going to choose, and here's another thing that I purposely left undone. So in the base game, you would have units that are part of a specific unit and they need to stay together, etc. I have allowed for players to come up with their own placement of troops. It's more of a gamey way of doing it, but it allows more control and decision and the initial setup for players to square off against each other or for solo play. So we're not as quite as strict and rigid with unit groups that are have a particular leader that is part of that group. So units move one space at a time. There's no diagonal movement. There's no diagonal firing or assault or charges. And that adds to more of a kind of like a chess-like aspect. I hate to sound cliche, but it honestly does. Let's bring this guy up here. So immediately, what do? Right off the bat, he gets his action. There's no doubt. He just gets it. But to check to see if he can conduct any future actions this turn, you'll roll your weighted die. Now his true quality is a 2, which means I need to roll a 1. And I rolled a 3. So what does that mean? That means he is spent. Now the way I've been doing this is just turning them upside down. That's subject to change moving forward. So he can't conduct any other actions this round. Hops over to the British. British now can fire with this light infantry unit in the woods, and we'll go ahead and check and see if he's spent after doing that. Now his true quality is 3, which means he needs a 2 or less to not be spent, and he passes that. So we'll mark him with a stress marker. Now the stress marker, and this is straight from Conflict of Heroes, the stress marker here represents a +1 penalty. Think of it as a die roll modifier for when you determine if he is spent, future spent rolls. So we'll just roll it up. That's 2 dice 6 for this system, my system that is, and I rolled it off. See, now I knew that would happen. Why is this happening? These dice are rolling off the I got a smaller tray here so it'll fit on screen. And they roll off. All right, so there's doubles. Now here's where our squad leader stuff comes in. So here's you have another game influence. If you roll doubles, think of this kind of cowering. Use your imagination on what that represents. So what would looks like a 4 would actually be a 3. And then we're going to add his firepower, which is 4, 5. The number of units in the group 6, 7, 8, 9. And then they're in columns, so that's 10 or 11. Now we need a 13 or higher for a result. We didn't get anything. So it bounces back to the French. We've got an artillery unit here that can fire into that guy in the woods. I don't know how effective that will be. Maybe we'll try it, but before we do, he gets his action, but remember, we need to check to see if he's spent after conducting that action. He is not, which is good, so we can use him for future actions in this turn. And then we'll roll it up. So he has 2 distance, so that's +2. And our die rolls, very good rolls, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's see, 16, but he's in the woods, drops down to 15. He's obviously got it because you need a 13 or higher. Now this die roll is a 6, the red die. That's important in your combat result. So whatever you roll, the red die, look at that. And 6 is the best result you can get. What does that mean? That means he takes a unit loss, drops from a, what is he, a 4? He drops from a 4 to a 3. He's also disordered, and it just keeps going. Those 6s are the gifts that keep on giving. He retreats as well. Now he can't retreat because there's a unit behind him, so he drops down in strength again to a 2 in order to stay in that retreat. So that cannon fire just tore him in half, literally. And it bounces back to the British. This little handy guy here to keep track of who's doing what and when, where, and how. So now we got the British. Let's go ahead and pull these guys up. So we'll pull him up. And then check to see if he can spend more actions. So we roll that. It's a 1. He's fine, but he gets a stress marker for future checks. Drops back to the French. I haven't used this system yet on the table with the miniatures. That's going to happen at some point. Really kind of trying to iron out wrinkles before I do so, but you guys know how long I've been messing with this, and this is the best I've been able to tweak it. It's really exciting. And again, it gets better as the game goes on. Back to the French. Let's pull. I guess we just need to start moving up. So let's move him up. Conduct a spent check. It's a 6. He is spent. Turn him upside down. Pass to the British. What we got going here? Let's try and. So he's disordered, right? If he takes another hit and gets another disorder, he's routing. That's bad. So let's try and. Well, we will remove that disorder, but to do so, he does nothing. And we conduct a spent check. He is not spent, so he's good to go. Knocked, he shed his disorder, and he's ready to roll. But he does get a stress marker. Okay, back to the French. Now, this guy that just fired and did so well, he can fire again, but his spent check will be done with a +1, right? Let's just go ahead and try that. Roll it up. You got a 3, had 1 as a 4, so you need to get below equal or higher is not good enough. So he is, in fact, spent. And I forgot to remove, each of these guys have ammunition, finite amount of ammunition, which I really like as well. You can't just fire all day long. So that'll be 2 ammunition gone. Once you deplete your ammunition, you can only fire at troops that are immediately adjacent, and I like that. So again, 1, 2, let's roll that up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, drops down to 12 because of the wood, so he doesn't have it. He just missed it, needing a 13. All right, back to the British. What is their... So there are some things that are fluid, as you can imagine. One of them being the firing ranges. So because he has a +2, the way I've been doing this is allowing them to fire. Here would be +1, here would be 0. But I think that's just too far range-wise to represent for infantry, considering artillery can fire up to 3. So we'll just leave it where he doesn't have anybody in range. So then let's bring some Hanoverians up. Even though they suck, we're going to need their help at some point. So we'll roll to see if he's spent, and he has spent. So here's the other thing, right? They have a troop quality of 1. They're just spent automatically. Conducting action, that's that for that turn. Back to the French. Let us pull him up. See if he's spent. He rolled a 3, and he is. Back to the British. Let's pull our next Hanoverian unit up onto the hill. It's automatically spent, but he's in better terrain now because he'll get a +1 bonus when firing and a -1 penalty when I fire at him. Back to the French. Pull them. The French line units here are not much better quality there too, so I need 1s to not to be spent here. And not quite getting them. Sometimes you get some good rolls. Other times you get what you deserve. So now that I've moved up, I've actually brought myself within range of this British artillery unit. So it goes 1, 2, 3. Let's fire him, but before we do, he's spent, and he is, so we'll turn him upside down to represent that. Shed an ammunition marker and go ahead and fire him off at 1, 2, 3. It's only a +1. Let's see what we can roll. Not very good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, needing a 13, that is nothing, so that was useless. Back to the French, we'll pull our last unit on the right flank here up and see if he gets spent. Probably. Yes. Roll a 2, and his troop quality is a 2, but he actually needs less than a 2, and that's how that goes. All right, British again. So we're done with this flank. And again, this is just kind of a way to help divide up the battlefield for keeping track of things more than anything else. So we can ignore this section of the battlefield because everybody here is spent. They can't do anything. That leaves the left and the 2 centers. Let's pull that light infantry unit up. He rolled a 2, but we're adding 1 because he's got a stress marker, makes 3, but he has a troop quality of 4. 3 is less than 4. He's still good to go. Then French. Let's pull him up. Here. Roll for his spent check. He's definitely spent as he rolled a 5. The highest troop quality in the game is a troop quality of 5. So he's done. Back to the British. Now he can fire. Let's see if he can. 1, and he's still good to go, even with that stress marker. He's a 2, and that's troop quality 4. So let's fire him. He gets a 6, add 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I should probably break down those numbers for you. I will do that the next time. 14. So he does have it, but if you look at the red die, that's merely a 1. On a 1 is not very impressive. That only yields a -2 morale check. Take a regular D10. Roll that morale check. He's got it. Roll a 10. He's good on that. So if he didn't have it, he would be disordered. Back to the British now. No, I'm sorry. Back to the French. Let's pull him up. Spin check. 5. He's definitely spent. British again, and we'll just go ahead and fire since he's still good to go. And he's rolled a 1, adding that +1 penalty. That's only a 2, so these guys are as fresh as can be. This light infantry unit. Roll that up. 6, 7. +2 firepower is 9. It's full strength, so that's 10, 11, 12, 13. Firing at the French unit in column. is 15, needing 13 or higher. I'd say he's got it. Looking at the red die, as yet again a mere -2 morale check. Let's roll that up. Roll a 9. -2 is 7. So morale of 5. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's stacked with a leader, so he gets a further +2. So he's fine. You need 11 or higher on these morale checks. Back to the French, and that's the way it goes. This guy could just conceivably be eaten up as long as this guy isn't spent, and he doesn't seem to be getting spent anytime soon. Let's move to the other center, pull him forward, conduct a spin check, and he's fine, but we'll get a stress marker for our trouble. Then we go back to the British. Let's fire him, even though he's spent. We can still fire. And is that? Yeah, he's done. Turn him upside down to represent that. Roll him up without rolling off the table. That's a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. +2 firepower is 12. Full strength 13, 14, 15, 16. Firing at a French unit and column is 18. Only needing a 13 or higher. I'd say he's got it. Now the red die is a 4, so what does that mean? I don't remember. I think it's a unit loss, strength point. Yeah, he's -1 strength point now, so he drops from a 4 to a 3. Mark that. Back to the French. Got an artillery unit here with nothing in range, doing nothing. But if I move him, I'll have to lumber him to do so, which is an action. I don't know what to do yet. Let's pull this guy up, French. I need a 1, or otherwise he's spent. And I got a 3, so he is spent. But he's able to move up there. And British again. Who do we want this time? This guy's still not spent. Adding 1 to the roll is a 3. Good Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's still not spent. Nine is the roll. +2 is 10, 11. Full strength 12, 13, 14, 15. Firing at a French unit in column is 2, so 17. He's got that. 5 is a retreat. If you look at the red die, you're looking at the number. And it says, just to be sure, yep, 5 is a retreat, so now he falls back. But that's just as well, because now he has nothing to fire at. This guy here that doesn't seem to want to be spent. Back to the French. Let's move him up. See if he's spent. Adding 1 to that is a 2, and no, he's not spent. Back to the British. Everybody that keeps popping in and out, thank you for stopping by. Feel free to say hi. Any comments, questions, I'll do my best to answer. I tried to give a pretty good breakdown at the beginning of this video for those of you that are just popping in. So we have British over here that can do nothing. I guess I'm following along somewhat historically with the British taking a rather defensive posture, not trying to move too far forward. And it would be silly to do so, especially when we have these great defensive spaces to be in. Just moved up that light cavalry unit. Let's see if he's spent. Roll a 7, I'd say so. Turn him upside down. Pass it over to the French. Start moving these guys up. What do we have here? Another cavalry unit. Let's see if he's spent. Roll that up. That is a cocked, as they say, die. 6, he's spent. Flip him. Back to the British. Let's see. Let's move him up to the hill and see if he's spent. This is it's got a troop quality of 3, So I need a 1 or a 2. No, he can't do it. He spent. Now here's another thing to consider. I haven't worked this out yet either. Do you get a bonus on your spent checks if you're stacked with a leader? I haven't been doing it, but that's something to consider in the future. Back to the French. Let's pull him up. This is a, looks like a SAR. Let's see if he's spent. He is spent as well. And pass it back to the British. We've got an artillery unit here, 1, 2, 3, with nothing in range. On a hill, sweet spot, don't want to move. So for the British, we're starting to wind down, and we'll get to why that's important in a second. We do have this guy that can move up. This is light infantry. Let's move him. See if he's spent. Roll a 1, which means he is not spent. Back to the French. I think we're done here. Either player can pass or can stall. So if you pass, you just don't roll anything. If you stall, you're going to conduct a spent check for somebody who's just trying to bide their time. Well, this guy up, light infantry, he has, he's elite, so he's got a troop quality of 5. Rolls a 1, he is not spent, but he will get a stress marker. So he can do stuff later on this turn. Back to the British. Let's pull him 1 more forward. He was troop quality of 4. He's got a 3, but with that stress marker, it makes it a +1. That makes it a 4, so he is spent, but he not before he was able to move up there. Back to the French. What is this? Let's move this light infantry unit up. More elite light French light infantry over here on the left wing, and he's not spent either. Back to the British. We've got this guy. Not much he can do though. So for the British, we have this lad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units left that are not. Well, he's not going anywhere because he wants to stay in the woods. This guy can move laterally. I'm not sure what the point would be. Well, let's go ahead and move him because we know he's not going anywhere. With the possibility of him moving forward at some point, and after that little maneuver, he's spent. Back to the French, we have more elite light infantry. No, he's not elite, he's just a veteran. So he gets it though. Yeah, he gets it. He's spent. Wait, no, he's stressed. He's very stressed. British again. Nobody's leaving Oklahoma on a farm, but they've got nobody to fire at. Artillery unit again. There we go. Now we have. Let's deplete some ammo. See if he's spent. He is spent, but not before he gets off a round. So we'll roll that up. All right, all kinds of modifiers here. 2 dice 6 to do that. High rolls is what we want. We've got a, that's terrible, 3 plus 1 for your distance is 4, 5, 6, 7 for his strength. He is on a hill, that adds 8. Firing at a unit in column is 9, 10, but you need a 13 or higher, and he didn't get it. What does that leave? That leaves 3 British units with nothing to fire at. So what do I do? Pass? I guess I'm going to pass. I've got nothing and I don't want to move. So it drops back to the French. I hope that didn't cost me anything. We'll move him here and see if he's spent. If he's not spent, this could be good. He is not spent. Even with the stress marker of a 2, he is a 4, so he's good to go. Still don't have anything for the British, so let's go ahead and fire him, and here's why this is good. Let's see if he's spent first, and he's still not spent. Wow, this could be bad for that unit in the woods there. Roll that up. Doubles is a 10, drops down to a 9. Thank you, squad leader. +1 is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 unit strength. And he's got flanking fire on this guy, so he's got this all day. With a result of 5, I believe that is a retreat, however. He cannot retreat because there's a unit behind him in Ugelmall farm. So that retreat turns into a step loss, dropping from a 4 to a 3. All we can do is pray that he gets spent at some point. Roll it again. Yeah, he's now spent, but he gets another fire action. What does he get this time? 10 drops down to a 9 because of the cowering squad leader thing I've added. 9 +1 is 10. Unit strength 11, 12, 13, 14. Flaking fire, we don't even need to add, he's already got it. With another retreat result, but again, because he can't retreat, because of the unit behind him, 3 to a 2, so that unit is now half strength. French have 3. This guy here. I'm going to turn him sideways to represent having changed from unlimbered to limbered. We'll see if he's spent as a result. Yes, he is. That's fine. So on the next turn, he can move, if I can remember that. British still don't have anything. No diagonal fire, no diagonal movement. So it just passes to these 3 guys here. Let's start with this one and see if he's spent. He's got a 1, no he's not. What's he doing? He's moving up. Let's just keep going with him. A 3 and a 4. He is now spent, but he's able to get to here before doing so. He's done. And then we have this guy here. He's spent, but he gets to move up. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It just brings him closer to that artillery unit. Finally, for the opening round. Oh, not spent. How far is he going to go? Surely he's spent this time. Yes, 5 + 1 is a 6. He's definitely done. So he's done. Now, there you go. There's round 1. If I remove, he did fire. 1, yes, I did 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to check because there is a command status that you need to be aware of. Now, had I been thinking properly, I wouldn't have done that because guess what? Now he's out of command. No, he's not. He can draw a command from here. So again, the rows or the columns are just visual enhancement to help you kind of keep track of what's going on. It doesn't represent a boundary of any sort. So he can draw a command from this guy. Were he not able to, he would be out of command. Let me check. So check all the French for, there's a command chain going here, so that's fine. Everybody's pretty much in command at this point. We'll check the British. Everybody's in command. Yep, everybody's good to go there. So nobody's out of command. Does anybody need to rally? I don't believe so. I didn't have anybody routing. So we're good there. It just drops to turn 9 and start right back up with the French. Were I savvy enough, I can just kick this round off with everybody upside down and have them turn right side up when they're spent, but I get confused easily. So I need consistency in my life. Hence, I will turn them back right side up in anticipation of that. So flip everybody over. This is the most exciting action-packed part of the game for you guys, I'm sure. When I go home to St. Louis, I typically bring this in some incarnation or other. When I go home this time, probably in September, this will be a real hoot to bust out and play poolside, as I've really made some progress on this. I know you guys don't believe me. So you've been fiddling with this for how long? I have, but at the same time, progress has been made. You just gotta trust me. So as it's no longer the opening round, both sides need to determine if and when they want to pull reinforcements out, right? Well, for the British, it's a little bit tougher decision, because if we pull one or both of those out, instead of needing to knock out or rout 2 French infantry units, we would need to knock out 3. So, well, last time I played this, I pulled the reinforcements out, but I'm not sure I want to do that just yet. For the French, it doesn't matter. They'll just pull theirs out. Right here. So now we're ready to roll. All right. French first, as per usual. Let's just start firing. Let's start here. We're firing at the woods. We want to try and, I guess these guys can move up and start firing at Hougoumont Farm, but if I could gain cover in the woods there and then start firing at the farm, I mean, that's just common sense, right? Right. We'll see if he's spent. Probably. Yep, he is spent, but we still get to conduct our fire. And he had a unit knocked out, so he only gets a 3 strength. Good roll, that's a 9, no fire modifier. 10, 11, 12. Firing at the British in line is 13. So I would have it, but the woods drop it back down to 12. Now here's a mistake on my part, a tactical mistake. I should have meleeed instead of fire, because then I would get a bonus with the leader, and I would have had it. So that's a mistake on my part. Good for the British, bad for the French. Wasn't thinking there. Flips back to the British. To determine facing, what I've done is, for instance, this guy has a French unit here and a French unit here. He's flanked by somebody. So what I've done is he will be facing, that is to say the British unit will be facing the stronger or more formidable of the two. So at this point, that would be this guy, right? So I probably would have had it anyway, because that would have been flanking fire. It's a moot point now. Let's go ahead and fire. But for future reference, he is now flanked by this unit, because he was automatically now has to face the stronger unit, which is him. He's spent. Yep. Turn him upside down. I don't know half strength what he's able to do here, but I guess we'll find out. Roll that up, and that's not good. 3, 4, 5, because he's half strength. +2 fire modifier is 7. He's nothing. Useless back to the French. But this guy's not. So I'm going to fire with this veteran light infantry there. Is he spent? Ooh, he's not spent, but he gets a stress marker. So there's that. Roll these guys. That's an 8. Add 1 for the firepower is a 9. Add 4 for full strength. 10, 11, 12, 13. Firing at a unit in line is 14. Drop back down to 13 because that unit's in woods. He just got it. Again, with the 5 and the retreat result, which he cannot, and that is the theme of this unit, being unable to retreat and suffering attrition as a result. Now drops down to a final strength point of 1. We could have our first British casualty here. He can't even run off because there's no diagonal movement. We'd have to pull these guys out and let them roll in there. This is not good. I could pull these guys out of the farm and fire, but that's just silly. I tell you what. This whole area of the battlefield is just so poorly fielded by the British. It's a real shame. I don't know what else to do. Not a lot I can do. I got this guard infantry doing nothing on the farm, for God's sakes. All is not lost. We've got a light infantry unit here that's going to light up our line, French line infantry here. Roll our spent check. He is not spent, so there you go. One area of the battlefield sucks, another one you gain some momentum, so that's just how it goes. 2 dice 6 coming at you. 8 doubles, cowers to a 7. Plus 2 firepower is a 9. 10, 11, 12, 13. He's already got it for being in line and full strength. Firing at a French unit in column actually makes 15. And with that 4 red die result, that is an automatic strength loss, so he drops from a 4 to a 3. And he will fire back in kind as he spent. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's not, but he's stressed now. And we'll roll his result. Did we want to? We do. Let's go ahead and melee because it's better odds for the French, especially considering they're in column. Now, unless marked otherwise, the British are considered to be in line, and the French are considered to be in column. So there's that. All right, so roll the dice. Very good result. This could be interesting. Let's see, 9. I need my this. Give me my this. All right. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm sorry. Got a little excited. 10. No melee modifier. 11, 12, 13. 14, 15. Drops down to 14. So yeah, they do have it. A little bit different modifiers for melee. You add the rank bonus for the attacking unit and subtract the rank bonus from the defending unit. So a 4 is a strength loss, so they're just pounding away at each other. So they drop from a 4 to a 3. Let's just go ahead and keep rolling here with these two guys duking it out. He's spent now, so that could be bad potentially if the French don't get spent. Don't get spent. You know what I mean. Now he's going to fire because he's got that +2, and the British, I guess, historically were better at firing, so that's represented in the game. But so he will fire, and that's a terrible roll. 4 + 2 is 6. He would only got a 1 melee bonus modifier for using the leader there, so I'm still confident with what I chose here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He just missed it. Just missed it. Back to the French. Let's see if this guy gets spent yet. So add 1 to the spent check, and it's a 2. He's not, so see what I mean? He's still good to go. 9. Are we melee? Yeah, let's do that again. 9. 10, no, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, again, drops down to a 1. It's a 13. He just got it. That is a retreat result, and he can, so he will. Boom. Since that was melee, though, I have to move up to that spot. So I guess that's cool, but I've presented a potential dilemma for this French unit because I'm risking, as I've have a British unit to my front and my side, I'm risking being flanked by one of these guys, and it's going to be this guy, because I'll face the strongest unit. So I will be flanked. Luckily, he's spent, but I need to bear that in mind. Also, and he's not out of command yet, but if at this turn ends, beginning of the next turn, he will, in fact, be out of command, so there's that as well. Not spent, though, right? Okay, good for him. British turn. He will fire at him. So is he spent for doing so? I don't know. 3 plus 1 is 4. Yes. Or at least he gets to fire something off. Okay. Let's roll that up. Dun, dun, dun. 6, 7, 8, 9. Good roll. Plus 2 fire modifier. It's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17. Well, he's got that all day. Plus 3 on your result on your red die is a disorder marker, so not the end of the world, but not the best either. Back to the French. Let's finish this out, possibly. We'll roll to see if he's spent, and he is, but not before he sheds that disorder marker. So I basically rolled to do nothing to shed that disorder marker. Flip him because he's spent. Back to the British. What does that leave? That leaves frustration again, because I think we're pretty much done here. Unless I do something. How did he move there and he's not spent? Oh, he hasn't. Okay. We got all this over here. Let's switch over here. Bring him up. Let's just go ahead and here's where you win the game. You know, I hadn't thought about this till now. Here's where you win the game. You knock out these 2 Hanoverian crap units, you're done. That's the weak link in the chain. It's just, well, he spent. But I mean, that's the game right there. You knock out those crappy Hanoverian units, and then he's going to fire, but he'll be spent immediately, automatically, because he's such a crap unit. He might get something, though, and he does. An 11. He actually has a -1 fire volume modifier and melee modifier. That's how crappy they are. So that 11 drops to a 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. Firing at these guys in column of 16. He's got it. He has to retreat. So back to the French. Let's pull him up. We'll just keep trying here. Like a battering ram. See if that unit's spent. Need a 1. Yeah, he's spent. Same deal. The other Hanoverian unit on a hill is going to fire. See if he's spent first. He is not. Yeah, he is. He is, because he's a troop quality of 1, so he's automatically spent. What does he get for his troubles? He gets. What do you got? A 3 and a 4 is a 7. -1 is a 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. He's on a hill, makes 11. Firing a unit in column. 12, 13. You see how that happens? That red die is a 4. That tells me that 4 strength is now 3 strength. But the French are not to be dissuaded. They will continue to move up with their crappy line units of their own. See if he's spent. He is spent. I can't move any. These guys suck so bad. I can't move anybody up without being spent afterwards. Back to the British, and guess what? I've only managed to move myself closer range to this British artillery unit. What's his troop quality? His troop quality should be a 3, and it is. Roll a 2. He's good to go. He's not spent. That's bad for me. Shed an ammunition marker. Roll that up. We've got an 11. I probably don't even need to calculate this, but 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. With that 6 result, which is the best result you can get, he retreats. Boy, the French just suck over here. He loses strength point, so that 4 becomes a 3. And he becomes disordered. Back to the French. We've got this guy that can move up, and will gladly do so, but is he spent? I don't know. He is not spent. Our first non-spent French infantry unit on this side, flipping back to the British. He's going to fire again at that unit. A 3 he's spent, but not before we decide what the result of this cannon fire is. 3 range. That's only a +1. Roll at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We did get it. A 3 is another disorder, and that means he's actually routing now. So there is no combat result for routing, but if you get 2 disorders, you will route. He routes, but because there's somebody behind him, he can't route to there, so that drops from a 3 to a 2. And until he rallies, he will continue to route. That's the French again. This guy, let's put him here, which might be a bad move. He should be spent now, right? Yes, he is. And then British again. So British are done here. British are done here. British are done here. Not done here. Let's conduct some artillery fire, shall we? He's spent, but he still gets a shot off. 1, 2. That's going to be a +3 modifier at that 2 range. That's an 8. 9, 10, 11. He's on a hill. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Well, he's got that. That is a retreat result, so he retreats. And back to the French. What if I do this? Let's pull this cavalry guy up here and see if he's spent. Because we could have some cav on cav stuff going. Nope, he's spent. Back to the British. We can still have cav on cav because we got this British light cavalry unit here. So he can charge, but he's spent afterwards. Let's roll up that charge. Cavalry, British cavalry unit charging a French cavalry unit. That is a pitiful roll of 3 + 2 is a 5. 6, 7, 8 is a 9. That's nothing. I can't remember if he was spent or not. I think he was. I'm re-rolling it. I got too excited about the cavalry charge. Yeah, he's spent. All right, and then back to the French. So we have another potential cavalry charge. I don't know if they're going to want to charge off the hill. Was he spent? No, he's not. But here's what's going to happen, right? We've got another British cavalry unit on a hill. He should be spent. He is, but let's see if he can charge off that hill with any positive result. So we'll roll that up. 5 better 6, but it cowers to a 5, so 5 and a +1 is 6, 7, 8, 9. On a hill 10, 11 for the French. That's not enough. And back to the French. So again, what is the point of pulling him up? I guess he doesn't do any good there. He's probably going to be spent, that's my guess. Nope, 3. He's not spent, so he's just stressed. Does the British have anything else? I mean, honestly, I think that's it. If I was to pass as the British, that would bring me back to the French with, I got a cavalry unit here, cavalry unit here, artillery unit that is ready to move. Let's do this. Cool, he's still not spent. Even with that +1 stress, it's only a 2. He has a true quality of 3, so he can move here. It's good for me. Is that it? Y'all with the British? Is there anything else you care to do? Gonna pass again? Yeah, okay, so. And he's still not spent. Let's just unlimber him here and leave it at that. So I will pass from here on out with him. So let's just consider him done. And that's not going to change. Line unit here, let's move him up. I don't know why he hasn't moved. Was he spent? 2, no. Stress marker. Let's go ahead and fire him since he's not spent. And a 2 and a 1 is a 3. He's got a 4 though, true quality of 4, so he can fire. And that is a 6, 7, 8 plus 1 fire value 9, full strength 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So he does have that. Die result of 2, so that's a minus 4 morale check. Rolled a 10, 6 is what the die result ends up being. 6 plus 5 is 11, so he does have it. Let's fire again, see if he's spent. Yeah, he's spent now. That back there and fire them all. Probably should conduct melee, huh? What's melee in? Melee. It's a 7, average. 8, 9. Well, let's do it this way. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I think I got this. 12, 13, 14, 15. Drops back down to 14. He does have that. A 3 is a disorder. Disorder him. These disorders are kind of anticlimactic. What do we got next? We have British, right? But they don't have anything to do. Well, let's go ahead and fire him. I think I need to bring the British reinforcements out. There's too much of the French doing stuff and the British not. So there's that. Let's fire these guys. Are they spent? Probably. No, they're not. Okay, so we'll fire him. Ooh, shed an ammunition marker. Roll that up. What is that? Okay, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He does have it. That 4, red 4, is a strength loss, so he drops from a... What is he? What is he? Light infantry drops from a 2 to a 1. Did I do that right? Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, minus 1 for the woods is 14, so he still has it. Good lord. Alright, this could be a... Are you spent now? Yes. But not before he gets another shot off. This could be our first gone unit. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, not enough. Exactly. If we got this guy here. Is he the strongest? Yes. Let's roll him up. As he spent. Yeah, he's spent now. Too much French action here, not enough British reaction. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No. Take that back. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And yeah. 13 drops back down. And he doesn't have that. Let's move this cavalry unit over. See if he's spent. Position him for future stuff. He's not spent. So since he's not spent, let's just hold him again. Sorry. And now we spent 3 and 4. Well, he's still not spent. But he's got nowhere else to go at this point, so he'll have to be spent there. Let's roll this guy up. He is not spent. Is he spent now? Add 1. That's 2. Still not. How about now? Still not. We'll leave him right there. Nope, let's move him one more time. Good lord. See that? What just happened? You can't predict that would have happened. Well, I'm going to charge that artillery unit then, if that's all the same to you guys. And he's still not spent. Okay. Let's roll that up. Melee 6, 7, 8. What do you got here? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Drops back down to 13, but he's got a +3 because he's with his commander. He does have it. It's only a morale check, though. That's a 0. Morale is 7, 8, 9, 10. He misses his morale check. So now he's disordered, and this gets interesting. If he... Okay, he's done. When he gets one more cavalry charge. We'll see what happens this time. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, back down to 17. A 3 result is a disorder, is it not? So here we go. We have routing artillery, but artillery doesn't rout or retreat. They just lose strength points. So they drop from a 3 to a 2. Take that off. And he's still routing. Okay, so he's going to continue to rout until he rallies. Anybody else? This is getting embarrassing for the British. Yes, let's move him. Move him over here. Closing in on Ugama Farm. And 1, 2, 3, 4 with a 3. Still not spent, but he's stressed. And he's done now. But not before he moves right up to the farm in position there. How about these guys? Leave him there. Because we do so, we'll just consider him done. We'll pass there. British can now fire with this guard infantry unit. Did you know that? Well, it's true. They're spent. But let's see what the British guards and Ugama Farm do against the veteran light French infantry here. Roll that up. 5, 6, 7 average. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He's got it. And that is a retreat? But he can't. So it's a strength loss. And that means 3. 4 with 3. French. Do I want to charge up a hill? Let's see what's the worst that can happen. 3 plus 1 is a 4. Spent, but now we're going to resolve the charge up the hill first. We've got 10 drops down to a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14, 13. We just got it as retreat. And check this out. Guess who's king of the hill now? He retreats. And I am now on said hill. I don't think I'm flanked either, so that's good. 2 more French guys, and that's the end of this turn, right? Yeah. Nothing else I can do anywhere. Let's move him up. Yes, he's spent. He's severely spent. So he's done. And then finally, only got a 2. This elite light infantry unit is stressed but not spent, and that means we are going to fire at this artillery unit on the hill now. I think that's flanking fire. So we'll roll that up. So I just lost track. Let's say he's spent, but not after he conducts this fire. So 8 drops down to a 7. In fact, let's just melee him. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is a strength point loss. 3 from a 3 to a 2. That's it for that turn. Okay. maybe one or two minor kinks, but this turn as opposed to the opening turn, but it was just fine. The main thing is I needed to bring out, I didn't think I wanted to, but there's just too much French activity and not enough British. And that as a result of this units over here in reserve, you can't see but off camera, that need to come onto the battlefield. So that was turn 2. Let's do turn 3. So this is 8. And maybe call it after turn 3. Need to feed the cat first, so there's that. Turn everybody right side up. Feeding the cat break. Yep, you get to eat now. You get to eat this dry, stale stuff you always eat. You don't seem to get tired of it. I'm gonna roll a spent check on the cat, see if it's spent. I feel like the French got this. Again, especially if I can knock out these crappy Hanoverian units over there. I feel like they got it. I've got this guy that only has 1 strength point left. I can knock him out. And if they do have it, again, that's going to be another error on my part as the British for not bringing out those reserves. You kind of got to do it. Even though it ups your victory conditions, what you need to do, I mean, I guess it's mandatory. So I really like this system. This is a bastardized system of Battles of Napoleon, Conflict of Heroes, and whatnot. I'm anxious to take it to the table and see what those miniatures do, how that plays out. But it packs a lot of punch, it has a lot of potential for what it is. I mean, the surface area of what we're talking about here is, it keeps it pretty interesting for what it is. It really does. Well, that sucks. Lost a strength marker, can't remember what it was on. Let's make it a 3. Move on my farm, finally able to fire those British Guard infantry. God, I need a shower. There's that. I think the last time I played this, I was a little more liberal in the infantry ranges, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to allow long infantry ranges that equal artillery ranges, so I think that was an error. I've amended that this time around, but it forces, naturally it forces you to maneuver more to get within range. And there's really no point in upping the artillery range more than what it is. It would just be doing no good because you only have so many spaces to fire through anyway. This guy, I was going to say if he routes off, but he's artillery, so he won't. He'll just keep losing strength points. Well, he only has 2 left, so anything can happen there. Everybody good to go? Nope. This guy's going. We'll call it right now. This guy right here, he's going to be going here for too long. Let's roll it up. French first. And who was he being flanked by? He's being flanked. He's facing this guy because he has a greater strength, so I can flank him here. Let's see if he's spent. He is spent, but let's resolve the fire of his action. Flanking fire here in line, so this is going to be brutal. 10, ASL coward dropped to a 9. 10, 11, 12. Do I want a melee? No, I don't want a melee because I get the better flanking bonus, I think. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Damn it. Since he's only a strength of 1, I don't get as big a flanking bonus as I thought. So it would be, if he was full strength, I'd get a +4 on that flanking bonus, but because he's only a 1 strength, I only get a 1 bonus. So guess what? Which should be a pretty good result because there's so few of them, it's turned to nothing. Double check 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. 13. I would have something, but he's in the woods. And that dropped it to 12, so there's that. British. Well, they ain't going out with a fight, so let's see if he's spent. He's definitely spent. Let's see what he can do with his 1 strength. So light infantry holding out in the woods. Watch, they're going to get an awesome result. That's just how it goes. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He doesn't have it. But let's see what these guys can do. As he spent, he's not spent, so they can fire again. And let's roll that up. 5, 6, 7 plus 1 is 8. 9, 10. Seriously? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need to stop firing and start conducting melee because it's not benefiting the French to fire when they're in column. I'm not getting all my modifiers. So when you fire in column, say for instance you're full strength, you don't get a +4, you get a +2, you get half for being in column. So I either need to switch to line if I'm going to fire or conduct melee. So that was nothing. Let's do the British. Let's fire these guard infantry again. That should be interesting, eh? They are not spent. Not hardly. Let's roll them out. Almost rolled off the table, but re-roll it. Oh, Jesus. A 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is not enough. Terrible rolls here. Prolonging things. Let's do this again. He is now spent. I feel good about this. What are we doing? We're conducting melee, right? We need a good roll. Yeah, it's decent. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Are you serious? Watch what happens. Drops down to subtract 1 for the British being in line is 13, and subtract 1 for being in the woods is 12. So I can't catch a break here. Back to the British. Are they spent now? Yes. Guard infantry and Ugamal Farm is going to fire one more time. Let's see what they can do. Haven't done much really. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Can get something. That's a -4 morale check. 4 from 6 is 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. 8, 9, 10. He did not get it because he's not full strength. He just missed it. So he's disordered. Still fire though, but can still conduct melee too, I believe. I gotta try it. We gotta try it. Let's see if he spent 3 and what is he? I feel like he should have a stress marker. I think I'm getting tired. Give him 1 now. Not spent. We'll conduct melee, but this isn't gonna be pretty. 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, hold up. I don't think this is gonna be good. 9. 10, 11, 12. No, that's not going to be enough. That was a waste of time. Back to the British. Let's roll and remove disorder here. He does, but he's spent. I say roll and remove. I mean, you can remove it if you do nothing, but he's spent now for doing that. I feel like this should be easier than it is for the French. Let's see if he's spent. He is spent. You see what? This is just ridiculous. I can't gain any traction here with this. So now we'll fire with the stupid Hanoverians. I don't know why I rolled that. They're always spent. Yeah, that's terrible. 3 is actually 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's nothing. Back to the French. Let's roll this up. Spent? Yes. Glad to meet you, Spent. Cat will go puke now, probably. 10 cowers to 9. 9. We melee? Yes. 9. Oh. 10, 11, 12. Hold on. 9. 10, 11, 12. 13, 14. 15, 16, 17. 16, 15. We still have it. We gotta, yeah, he has bye-byes. And because we meleeed, we move up to that hill. King of the hill, new king of the hill. What are you going to do about it? Well, I think we can fire here, right? He's automatically spent after doing so. Probably won't amount to much, but jeez, let's still roll it up. 9 actually drops to 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? Seriously? So all that really happened is we just caused each other to retreat. Let's roll this guy up. He's spent, but he's going to... Well, what's he going to do? He's not doing anything. There's nothing he can do. So leave him there. This guy, sorry. Cavalry charge on the artillery. He's spent. So this is his one shot. Let's see what he gets. Cavalry charge on artillery. 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Drops down to 14. He does get it, but it's a measly stinking morale check, and he's already routing, so that's a moot point. Alright. So he needs to try and rally. He's spent, but we'll see if he can do it. With this order, you can just do nothing and remove it, but with the routing, you actually need to try and rally. He's got that, I think. 10, 17, 18, 19. Even if I subtract 5 for routing, that's still, yeah, he's got that. So he rallies. Back to the French. This guy's routing. Let's see if we can fix him. He's spent. Well, what is the result of his rally attempt? I think he's good as well. 9, 10, no, maybe not. 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, man, seriously? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, but it's minus what for being routing? Jesus. Yeah, he doesn't do it, so he retreats one more. And if he rallies and fails again, that's a casualty, so that's how that goes. British done. British not done. British done. British not done. Let's fire that off. 3, he's not spent. Not yet. Roll up that fire result. 6 cowers to a 5. Plus 2 fire value is a 7. 8, 9, 10 because he's 3 strength. Firing at a French in column. I lost my count. See how that goes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? That would be 12, and that's not enough. Well, let's see if the French can do any better, because he's not spent yet. Well, he is now. Let's see if he can make anything happen there. Alright, we need a big roll here. That's not really what I was talking. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He just got it. He's retreating now. Where's that? And again, if these guys retreat off the map, that's a casualty. So that was firing, so I don't move up here. Back to the British. Can I? Let's do this. Is he spent now? No. We'll move. So I move this full strength unit to intervene, as he's now down to a 3. British, or French rather, I'm sorry. Let's fire this guy. He's got one last long-range round left. Is he spent after this? Yes. Should that flip him? Fire him. Range 2 is what? Plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 drops back down to 9. He's got nothing there. British. Fire this guy, who's probably going to be spent after any of this. What is going to be the result here? This is light infantry firing. 10 cowers to a 9, plus 2 is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yes, he has it, and he basically retreats, which is what that 5 result is. We want to move him where? Do we want to move him anywhere? Here? Let's move him here. Is he spent after that move? Probably. Yes. 3 plus 1 is 4. I think he's done. He is done. Almost done with this round, y'all. French. Got this guy here, raring to go. Well, let's go. He's going to fire. Let's see if he's spent afterwards. He is not. Roll up the fire result. 6, 7, 8, 9. For him firing again, I should be conducting now. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You see, what is wrong with me? I'm not thinking. That was useless. Useless. Then we have look at this. Let's fire him. Look at this British artillery unit on the hill there. Is he spent? Yes, he is. Sheds an ammo marker. Strength of 2, so he's not full strength. We can roll this up and see what we get. That is 7. Oh wow, he's got a plus 5 for close range, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, he's got that. Well, it's really just a disorder result, so that's kind of sucky. Back to the French. Let's do this right this time. See if he's spent first, and he is, but I'm not fiddling around with firing anymore. I'm going to melee right in there. Oh, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14, 15, 14. He's got it, and that's the best result you can get, which is the 6 from the red die, which means a retreat, strength, loss, drops to a 3, and disorder. Because, again, fatigue, I can't remember if I didn't mark it, so he must have, no, he's done. But he still moves in, because he still moves into that spot. Well, he can fire now, though. Let's fire him off. Because he's probably spent now, right? Yeah, he's spent. He only has a strength of 1, for God's sakes. So we'll roll that. 11, 12, 13, 14. He does get it, and with a 5, he's just going to scoot on. Just head right back where you came from in your attacks. That is French. With diagonal fire, I can't do anything. You know, I need to move him here and him here. He can fire. Let's see if he's spent. He is spent. If I do nothing, I remove that. Well, yeah, let's just do that. Play it safe. I was going to say I can still fire, but with a penalty if I'm disordered. Just play it safe and remove the disorder so I don't risk routing and losing the strength point because I can't route. British. I think that leaves the left wing here. Let's try this British cavalry unit here, who is spent now after this. But we're going to roll up cavalry charge against a French cavalry unit. Cocked die. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not enough. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, not enough. Alright, French, he'll charge back. Is he spent after this? He is not. He is not. Why is he not? Well, roll it up anyway. 6, 7, 8, 9. Watch this. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, he's got it. 6, best result you can get. It pushes him back, makes him disordered, loses a strength point. He drops from a 3 to a 2. And watch this. He maneuvers into that area and can attack again on the next round, next turn, next whatever. We got a British unit here that can do something. Is he spent afterwards? He is. Winding down here, almost done. Almost done with this turn here. Roll that up. That's a 4, 5, plus 1 is a 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, that's not enough. I'll do it again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Actually would drop down to a 10, so not enough there. Stuff going on. Is this this guy going to end up spent? Yes, he is. No, he's not. Because he's an elite. Strength of 5, he rolled a 4, so he removes that. Gets a stress marker. Let's fire him. See if he's spent, though. No, melee. Stop firing. He's not spent. Let's roll up that melee charge. 4 drops to a 3, cower, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, he doesn't have it. So British lucked out. But he's not spent yet, so he's still not. We roll it again. So we get this time. Worse, so that's not going to work. Try it again. Is he spent this time? Yes. But he gets one last melee charge for his trouble there. Let's roll that up. We're almost done. 6, 7. I don't think that's enough either. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14, 13. It is enough. And look at this. Because it's a red 6, can't retreat off the map because he's artillery, but he does drop to a 1 and gets a disorder result. Oh, wait. He's actually going to lose 2 strength points because 6 result is disorder, retreat, and lose 1 strength point. Since he will not retreat, he has to lose 2 strength points. He's gone, but doesn't count towards our victory conditions because it is artillery, not infantry. So boo on that. But there's our first casualty there. He's gone. These guys actually move into the hill. That's going to make him done. He can't do anything now because he just blocked any maneuvering ability there. And that leaves these 2 cavalry units. Let's roll him up to see if he's spent. We are seriously almost done here. He is spent now. He's going to conduct 1 final cavalry charge. And even, again, if I have a great result, because that's cavalry, it will not count towards victory conditions. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19. Yes, he's got that. Another great result. He's routing. He's gone. So that would be -1 and a retreat. So he can either retreat off the map or lose a strength point. Either way, he's gone. So there's our second casualty. And still no victory points, though. And then it moves him up here. Finally, this guy here. Right? Yeah. Last unit here. Let's see if he's spent after this action. And he rolls a 4. He is, yeah, he's spent. He's going to be spent. Let's see what he gets for his cavalry charge. And it's against cavalry as well, so we don't have to worry about forming square or any of that stuff. That's terrible. It's not going to be anything. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Drops down to 8. Yeah, nothing. All right, so actually 9 because of the hill. Still not enough. That's that. That was, what, 3 turns? 3 turns of that. As I turn everybody right side up, I'll recap and recount. We've got the French have pushed all the way towards on the left flank here, all the way towards the back end, threatening to get rid of this final British cavalry unit. But again, it's kind of a moot point because it doesn't count towards victory conditions. And you know what? I did not bring, this is terrible, I did not bring any of those British reinforcements on map. That is just inexcusable. That has really handicapped the British forgetting to do that 2 turns in a row. Actually deciding not to do it. This is the first turn I actually forgot to do it. So that is not good. Doesn't look like Google Mount Farm is going to fall anytime soon. It's going to be a while for that. We got a full strength guard infantry unit in there, so they're good to go. Did take the wood? No, I didn't. I'm poised to take the woods. This light infantry unit in the woods has 1 strength point left, so if they get a retreat result or I get a strength loss result, they're done. So that probably next turn, they will be done, and that'll be our first victory point for French there. That'll be my guess. And then this guy here only has 1 strength point left. I could fire him with artillery and finish him, so that's probably how it'll end. Melee into there, and that artillery fire into there, and that should be game. But a plan rarely ever goes according to plan. I don't see the British with an advantage anywhere on the battlefield, really. I just form a stinking strength marker across again. Dang it. I don't remember what it was. I've got these in plastic card holders I could be using. dry erase marker, which I have right here. So I don't have to fling strength markers all around, but I haven't really been using it. There's not much going on over here. We've got this artillery unit that's almost done. Again, won't count towards a victory condition, but one less thing I'll have to worry about before too long is the French. Who's going to take this hill? It all determines. I guess the French will, because they'll have initiative. Let's go first since they're attacker. Do not fling this strength marker. Good job. Got a routing unit here. Oh, here we go. So I forgot about this. Here's pretty much the only British advantage. When he goes to rally, if he fails, he'll route off and be done. That'll be a victory point for the British, and only need one more if I continue to keep them off, but reinforcements up. But I think that's a bad idea. That's about all I got in me, but probably a little more than usual. We're looking at, what, an hour and 41 minutes I've been doing this. It's addicting. I like it. This will work great, as I said before, on the table over there for either the epic stuff or the 28 mil stuff. This has legs. I can apply this to I'm tossing around the idea of some samurai stuff, but sticking with this for right now because it's just working too well, in my opinion. It's just working too well. So, all right, I think that's it. Any questions or comments? Please feel free to leave some. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, and be safe.